Welcome to episode 50 of Timm Talk.
We did it.
We did it.
Holy shit, I forgot it was episode 50.
Yeah, I know. I realized that this week as I put my notes together. We did 50 episodes.
Wow.
I know.
That's weird.
Well, I mean, technically it's like 56.
Huh? If we include the crossovers.
The Comic-Con and the other ones. Like, or in terms of like official episodes. Yeah, we did it. We hit 50.
Wow, congrats. So,
I know,
like a high five? You nailed
Yeah.
it.
Ah, so good. But yeah, we're back this week. Talk some more Superman.
Yeah.
Some I guess one big premiere of a character in the form of Brainiac, and the return of a character, Lana Lang.
My favorite.
I know you probably have so much Smallville knowledge you can throw at us.
Not really.
That I have.
It's one of those things where you realize, like, you don't love the character, you love the actress.
Yeah,
It's kind of sad for me to realize that. Because, I mean, I like this iteration of Lana.
I do too, yeah.
But Kristen Keurig is just so pretty.
Isn't it Krook?
Whatever.
I think it's Keurig. That's a coffee maker.
Is that not her family? Did her family not make the coffee maker?
Maybe they did. Maybe that's where she got her vast fortune. That's how she ended up on Smallville.
Exactly.
I have.
You had to pay your way into that show.
Oh, God. Oh, Smallville. But I mean, before we can even get to talking about Smallville, other DC properties.
Can I throw something in really quick? Because
sure.
I've had it. I've waited around to say this for a long time. Disney has gone too far, Chris.
What?
I read this morning. I don't know if you know or care, and I feel a little hypocritical talking about this because I love the A-Teens so much. They're rebooting Devo. It's called Dev 2.0, and it's a kid band that's recreating the 80s band Devo. The band that does Whip It. Whip It.
What?
I just needed to let someone know, Chris. It's been in the back of my mind since this morning, and I've had it. Disney has crossed the line.
Do you have a strong affinity for the 80s band Devo?
No, I just mean they don't need that. We don't need that in the world, Disney. What are you doing with your time and your money? Just give me more 18s.
Give you more what?
Do you not know the 18s?
No.
Oh, so the reason I feel hypocritical is the 18s is is the Disney pop band that recreated all the ABBA music, which kind of got me to know who ABBA was. They also did the lead song from Lilo and Stitch.
Okay. Hawaiian Roller Coaster?
No.
There's a different main song from Lilo and Stitch?
The other one. I'm just casually pulling up my Spotify because I forgot the name of it. Oh, it's not important. 18s is great. Deep 2.0, not great. I'm frustrated. Now we can go into DC news. I just needed to get that off my chest.
Okay. Once again, I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. But let's talk about something.
Someone will. Someone will be on my side of this very passionate discussion. Disney, I'm talking directly to you, Mr. Mouse.
Yes.
You've crossed the line.
Mickey Mouse himself listens to this.
Yes. I can confirm.
Yeah, you would know, actually.
I can confirm Mickey does listen to this podcast.
Yeah, can you sneak a Timm Talk reference into a... Damn it. Well, since I know you could talk about Disney forever, we'll talk about all of the DCEU news. So you sent me a message the other day. You were very excited, like, oh my God, Chris, we finally have news to talk about. I'm like, wait, what the fuck are you talking about? So I look it up when I'm at work. And it's the announcement of a Joker origin film from Todd Phillips and Martin Scorsese that may be set not in the DCEU continuity and won't star Jared Leto.
Right. It'll be in the 80s. I don't know if you said that.
Yeah, I did see that, yeah. So much to unpack there. How do you feel about that?
So, I have a lot of feelings about that. DC understands their fuck-ups, and that's good, that they're starting to kind of sort of accept that they've messed up.
But are they reacting by making more fuck-ups?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
They have this opportunity, because we've talked about this before with Flashpoint. They have this opportunity that's basically a soft reset button.
Yeah.
Where everything they've done wrong, at the end of Flashpoint, they can just press this button, and when they come back to this current reality, all of the things they did wrong will just magically disappear from the universe, and then they can rebuild it from flashback bullshit.
Okay.
So we've talked about, do they deserve Flashpoint? Absolutely not.
No.
There's nowhere near enough relationship buildup to earn that. But they need it. And I've really come to that acceptance. They need it right now.
See, I don't think they need it. I think what they need to do is they need to double down. They need to double down and move beyond their mistakes, but don't try and fix them, right? So acknowledge the fact that, like, Zack Snyder is probably not the right person to handle Superman just because he's not a fan of the character. Acknowledge that Batman vs. Superman was terrible. Acknowledge that even the Justice League is probably not going to work that well because they have Steppenwolf as a villain and not like a major, like a Darkseid or something like that. Acknowledge these are problems, but also recognize, okay, but they're not totally fucking up. Wonder Woman, despite being, I think, very flawed at some points, was really good. Matt Reeves, really competent director. Batfleck, again, he's in bad movies, but I think he's actually pretty decent as the character. So start just taking what they have and just letting different creatives take a run with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I hated Suicide Squad, but Margot Robbie is good as Harley, even if that character was poorly written. Maybe when done a little bit differently, Jared Leto could redeem himself as the Joker, especially given more screen time, right? I think you just stick with it. Like, because one thing Marvel's never tried to do is, erase their movies.
Well, they also don't have the opportunity. There's no real Marvel storyline that is like a world destroyer.
No, but okay. So
with Flashpoint, they have that opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say that with the Incredible Hulk, they have kind of moved beyond that and just recast the role and just kind of kept going.
Well, yeah, they kept it the same story.
They kept it all the same.
That's what's important.
And I think this is gonna be the problem. Is this is gonna be super fucking confusing for people if they end up doing a reboot with Flashpoint. I don't think they need that. I think there's enough good elements that in better hands, this could all be pretty cohesive. I think the problem is that they continue to be very reactionary, right? It's like, no, they should not have jumped straight into Justice League to try and catch up with the Avengers. But at the same time, don't try and then just reset everything before it's even really in place. But that's what they're going to do.
Right.
Yeah.
I was thinking, it's interesting that we have.
I know.
You're defending DC for the first time.
What the fuck has happened?
It's the 50th episode. We all everything's crazy now.
Did someone flashpoint us?
Yes.
At some point.
I have a theory of what Justice League will be about, or at least the B story will be, based off where I think they're going to go in the future.
Okay.
I feel like the main subplot is going to be between Batman and Flash. Mm-hmm. We saw it kind of in the more recent trailer. That Flash kind of has this idea of like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just a kid. I don't fight.
Yeah.
And then I think he's going to be looking up to Batman to be this kind of fatherly, super, like, this figure to look up to.
Mm-hmm.
And Batman kind of seeing the remnants of Robin behind him is going to try and push Flash away as much as he can. At the end of Justice League, he's going to do Flash is going to do some stupid self-sacrificial bullshit as Flash always does. Mm-hmm. Batman will save him. Batman kind of looks at him as this kind of protege equal kind of character. So then we have that build up for Flashpoint when he does go back and meet Thomas.
Okay.
So then we'll have that core connection.
Okay. I mean that does kind of make sense. Because I think it's interesting because I feel like the Wonder Woman movie the second one will be pretty independent of the whatever major story arc is going on. Matt Reeves said time and again that his movie, there's a debate about that. His movie is, in fact, part of the DCEU. We don't know if Affleck's coming back or not, but it's a standalone story. It's not connected to everything else. So that's a good point. That maybe they're just going to be like, well, Flashpoint's the one where we can just really have that be picking up story threads from other places.
Mm-hmm. And also with DC, as compared to Marvel, most of the Marvel heroes all live in the same general area.
That's true, yeah.
With DC, you have Atlantis, you have Themyscira, you have Metropolis, you have Gotham. They're all fairly spread out from each other.
Except for Metropolis and Gotham, which apparently are
30 minutes away from each other, yeah. Just a quick commute.
Yeah.
Besides those two, you can have your independent stories and not really deal with any of the, especially in Themyscira and Atlantis.
Yeah.
They're not even known to most of the human world, whereas almost every Marvel movie takes place, in New York, around New York.
Yeah.
It's they try and overlap enough to where it would make sense for the other characters to be reactionary to what's going on.
Yeah.
Without actually being there, because fuck you, Iron Man.
Yeah.
If you knew what the fuck was going on in Defenders, you should have fucking been there.
I know. Have you watched The Defenders yet?
Yeah, I was all right.
I haven't watched it yet. I haven't had the time. I see, because what I find interesting about this possibility, and again, this is all rumors, this possibility of sort of these Elseworld stories, something you and I have talked about, I don't know if on the podcast, that's something I would like to see. I like this idea of being able to see, a Superman Red Sun movie, or I mean, it'd be hard to do like a live action version of it, but like New Frontier or even like Kingdom Come, like I would love to see these sort of like pocket stories happen, and so it'd be interesting to see someone come along with a way to do that. I think Marvel's the only one who could kind of get away with it because they're so established now. They could find some sort of like small bridge, like an alternate dimension or something like that. Mm-hmm. I just feel like we're not there yet with DC.
Absolutely not.
And I think what they should be doing is, rather than talking about this possibility of like having the Joker origin movie, which one, you don't make a Joker origin movie, but that aside, if you're going to, don't make it its own separate thing. If you can do someone, a different actor, if it's like, 30 years ago, it's a younger version, sure, fine, you can have it be a younger actor and that's fine. But do kind of what Marvel's done and just have tonally very different stories you play in, right? Like Ant-Man has a very different tone than say like Winter Soldier, but they all kind of work together.
Marvel has this understanding, which I love that. I love this idea that superhero movies are kind of transcending genre.
Yeah.
Where it's not like Ant-Man isn't a superhero film. It's a heist film with a superhero.
Yeah.
And that's what DC needs to understand, that they're making superhero movies, not movies with superheroes.
Yeah. And I think they're kind of getting there with like Wonder Woman, which is it's getting towards there. That's kind of a war film.
It's a war film.
Yeah, but I mean the same way that like Captain America was kind of that too.
Yeah.
But I mean, so these aren't even the only rumors though, because now there's also talk about there being a Joker Harley movie, basically people refer to as Mad Love, from the directors of Crazy Stupid Love. I know, but
good.
Glenn Farquhar and John Requa. I think they also did.
I really hope they just recast it straight as Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone.
Oh my God, what that? Ooh.
Yeah, Emma Stone could be a very all right Harley.
She could be fine Harley. But so then
she's not like quirky enough.
No, probably not.
She's not high. She has the quirk. She's not high energy enough.
Yeah, exactly. And plus, I think Margot Robbie, she's fine.
Yeah.
But so
I'd still love to see Ryan Gosling try to be the Joker.
I would love that, because now the idea is that maybe that in that movie they will separate, which then would lead to Gotham City Sirens, which are these rumors about things getting, maybe it's delayed, maybe it's canceled, I don't know. But I think there are so many crazy theories, rumors going on right now. I think it's kind of twofold. I think one is they don't know what the fuck they're doing, and it's absolutely apparent. The other side of it, though, is I think now a culture of Schadenfreude has developed over filmmaking, but particularly DC. Like at this point, we're like, it's such a train wreck that it's almost entertainment in of itself.
Yeah.
I was actually talking with a friend recently about this, and he used to work on like construction sites, and he was saying like he thinks about like if you're on a construction site building a building, every day something goes wrong. So imagine that happening, but there's someone there like reporting that as news for every little thing that happens, and that's basically what's going on with filmmaking now. That we've gotten so deeply ingrained in the culture of just the process that every little thing that would normally happen has now become a huge news story. So they're fucking up on one level, but also like we're obsessive. Fuck, we're here talking about it.
Right. Did you ever? So you brought up kind of this elseworld storytelling.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch American Gods?
I haven't watched it yet. No.
Okay. They do. Did you read the book?
No,
okay.
I haven't. Yeah.
No, I haven't read it either.
Yeah.
They do this I only watched the first few episodes, but they do this interesting storytelling method. I can't talk today. Storytelling method.
None of us can.
Where they'll have the main story going on, and then like halfway through, they'll break and have a completely random story for like 10 minutes that's completely independent on its own, and then it'll continue the main story.
Okay.
And I think that's such an interesting idea of kind of, and I don't know how they could transition that into movies, but I feel like that could kind of be what you're talking about with the Elseworld. Like if that storytelling method kind of becomes a little more popular and a little more accepted, because I know it was kind of split with people liking that and people not liking that, becomes kind of more accepted socially. I think that could be really interesting for DC. With like 3 movies in canon, and then you have the Elseworld. It could be like a different intro to let people know.
Yeah,
they could. I mean, there's things they could do to kind of let the audience know beforehand. They're like, this isn't continuity.
Yeah, I would be interested to see someone try to do that.
Yeah.
I mean,
let's do it.
One could argue that Fox has already done that with the X-Men movies, which just ignores continuity.
Right.
So
yeah, that's a little different. They don't.
Yeah. So maybe we'll get there at some point. I don't know. I mean, look, as much as we are always like here talking about all the crazy shit they're doing, I want to see good films come out of them. I think we're now starting to see potential for good movies.
Right.
I want them to continue that, and I'm worried that they're, in the same way they made a huge mistake of just trying to catch up the Avengers, they're not going to make a huge mistake again with Flashpoint. Only time will tell.
We will know in a few years.
Several years, possibly.
Maybe this podcast will still be going on, and maybe we'll be laughing at ourselves.
Who knows how many of these movies will actually end up getting made?
Right.
Of like, the 5 we just mentioned?
The bubble has to pop at some point.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm very scared for that day.
I know.
Because then what are we going to do with our time?
What are we going to do? I know. Live, maybe. Go live normal.
No. I've been to the movie theater 4 times this week. I'm not going to change.
Oh, God, I'm so jealous. I haven't seen anything
Don't be jealous.
in a long time.
It's the peak of my social interaction.
I only just found enough time to sit down and watch Stolen Memories, which is one of the episodes we're talking about today.
What a great segue, Chris. It's almost like you've been trying this for 50 episodes.
So, Stolen Memories, introduction of Brainiac.
Yes, I was very surprised by that. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, overall, pretty solid. I mean, it's not a super original version of storytelling, but I like the way they do Brainiac in this. But I mean, it even
this was a very low action.
It kind of
was, episode, which was different but kind of nice.
Yeah, and I thought that the times they did go to action, it didn't really work for me that well. But there are some things they did well. Like,
you didn't like when they used Superman as like a ping pong ball?
No, it's so dumb. So basically, Lois and Jimmy have snuck onto some sort of Lex site way out in the desert where he's meeting with someone, and we quickly learn that he's meeting with an alien that's Brainiac. We know who he is from the pilot, but no one else on the planet does quite yet.
Right.
And he shows up in this giant cloaking spaceship, and he's all robo tentacles and everything like that. And then we do get to see the introduction or the reintroduction of Superman's ship, which was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Which I do think it's kind of funny, too, because when they unveil it in the barn and then the pilot, it's not that big. It fits inside. It fits under a bench in the barn, right?
Yeah, it just holds a baby.
Yeah, just a baby. And now it is big enough to hold him.
I want to imagine what it's like. He's just super cramped inside of it, knees on his chest.
Huge guy, also wearing a spacesuit.
Yeah,
in
the space pod.
Inside this thing. But, I mean, also they had to introduce it because we skipped 2 episodes. Because
the 2 episodes are after this.
No.
Yes, because I got really excited.
Hang on. We had to skip 2 episodes involving Lobo that involved the spaceship. So they had to introduce the spaceship in Soul Memory so they could explain why it's then around in Lobo.
Yes, that's what I meant.
Okay.
I think we were saying the same thing.
You probably were. Fuck you.
This is your fault. You're wrong. It's Lana. It's not
Lana.
It's not Lana. Fuck you. It's Lana.
Wrong. Oh my God, we agree on a pronunciation.
Yay.
Wow, we really have changed.
So I had this idea with Brainiac because he's the memory guy. He holds all the memories of every planet.
Yeah.
When was he created? Do you know offhand by chance?
He in this universe?
In the comic universe. When was his first appearance in the comics?
Oh, I did look all this up. He first appeared in July 1958 in Action Comics number 242.
Okay, never mind. I was hoping that because Lex gives him a CD of all of the memory, or all of Earth's kind of knowledge.
Yeah.
Do you know about the Golden Record?
Yes, that they put on Voyager?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was really hoping that this was their version of to scare people away from doing the Golden Record. Oh, I'm just if you do, this horrible space alien / robot is going to come down and take all of Earth's memories.
Yeah. To be fair, though, this
for those who don't know, quick side note, the Golden Record in 1978, I want to say. I don't know the exact year.
Right.
Said president of that time, whose name shall be inserted here.
78 would have been Carter?
Sure. Sent out a record, a literal record disc of music snips or clips of music, about 100 and I want to say 180 photos, and famous movie clips of the time, just out into space to try and show if it ever runs into extraterrestrial life what Earth is like, to show that we're a peaceful world, that we are they said they spent space or robotics blueprints and building to show kind of where humans are in the evolutionary track.
Yeah,
which is a cool thing. I think it's still just floating out in space.
Yep. Yeah.
Basically, what Lex gave Brainiac is a smaller version of the Golden Record.
It was NASA and Carl Sagan.
Yeah,
and then 115 images and sounds from surf and wind and birds and animals. Stuff from cultures, spoken greetings from 55 different languages, and a printed message from, President Jimmy Carter.
Yes. 78? How close was I? 80? 76? The same year that Jaws came out?
published. Well, I mean, the record was itself published in 1978, so I think that's when they probably
Cool.
put it on.
I was right with the year.
Well done.
Thank you, Timm Hostler, for teaching me that.
Who?
My old college professor.
Oh, okay. So important.
Yes, he is. I'm sure he listens.
Yeah.
Not really. He does a lot more with his time.
Does.
He's a cool guy, though.
Yeah. But yeah, so, basically, Brainiac's like, oh, I can give you all of my knowledge. You give me your
knowledge, yeah.
And I think when I did some research on the character, he's had different iterations over time. But to your point about this idea of the golden disc, that may have happened before like one of his reintroductions, because he hasn't always been someone who like
it's like the knowledge.
I mean, I guess he's always like shrunk and bottled cities, most famously Kandor. But
oh yes, Kandor, the
Kandor.
Bottled city of Kandor.
Good old city of Kandor.
I was that was like one of those like proud nerd steps you take when you like that's like the first thing you learn in the next level of like nerdiness
Is what Kandor is?
Yes, what the Bottled city of Kandor is.
Can you read Kryptonian?
Nope.
Okay.
I can read Navian.
I could at one point.
Good, I'm proud of you.
I've since forgotten all the letters, but and you probably can still read Navian, can't you?
Yeah. Some of the words.
Oh, I'm glad someone is keeping Avatar culturally relevant.
Just me.
Someone's doing James Cameron.
I'm already in line for Avatar 2.
God. Movie I do not care about in the slightest.
I'll make you go.
So anyways, I know you will. So we quickly get Lex is like, oh, you should go talk to Brainiac. He has so much he wants to talk to you about. So we go, and yeah, there's this totally pointless fight where Brainiac unleashes a whole bunch of robots to, as he puts, like, test Superman's abilities. It was just putting in there to have a really
It's these robots with
terrible
giant
fight
hands
that
are literally playing tennis with Superman.
Just swatting him about.
Yeah.
And he quickly just takes him out with his laser vision, because absolutely would. It's just, I feel like most of the action sequences up to this point have actually been pretty solid.
Yeah.
Like, this is the first one that felt just completely gratuitous and stupid.
Yeah.
Like, it's
like
just,
even the bouncy ball was more interesting than
because
this.
it was clever.
Yeah.
Right? And even then, once he showed up, he handled it really quickly. Mm-hmm. This was just literally, like, 5 or 6 giant robots with huge claws, like, literally swatting him about until he finally, like, stood up and used his powers.
Yeah.
It kind of lame for me. I almost rather them just not included an action sequence and spent more time with like the two of them talking. Mm-hmm. But I get you can't do that. It's still a kid
show. Yeah. And it is like we're obviously not going to get to this point for a long time, but there is that very famous quote from Superman in Justice League where he talks about, I live in a paper world full of paper towns and paper people,
yes,
where I constantly have to hold back. Like every time I see Superman get beat up, I just remember that little quote.
Yeah.
Of like he has to hold back for so long and for so much that like it's sometimes he kind of I'm sure sometimes he kind of forgets what he can actually do.
Yeah.
Because he always is just like this, especially in the next scene when he's driving. Is that in this episode?
Yeah, it's this episode, yeah.
Which makes me feel super uncomfortable watching Superman
why does
drive.
he have a car? Yeah.
When he's like doing those sharp turns, I just like, how do you know? Like,
yeah, how do you
I feel like with that strength, to just like,
off?
just completely rip it or like push through the floor.
I also love that when, I guess actually in the next episode when we see the car, but when he like parks the car, like the roof pops open so he can fly out because he can't just get out the door.
Right.
I know, it's so ridiculous. But we do learn that Brainiac has traveled the galaxy, traveled the solar system, the universe, whatever, and visited civilizations and collected all their history, their memories. Mm-hmm. And so he lets Superman touch the one from Krypton. He's like,
he also tells him that he is from Krypton.
Yeah, I am Krypton. Like,
he tries to kind of say like they're parallels of each other. Like,
I mean,
we are the last two survivors of Krypton.
They're both creations of Jor-El.
Yes.
Right, and they're the last two survivors. So yeah, he's kind of trying to get them together. And
we are brothers, you and I.
Exactly. We're not so different.
We are not so different, he and me.
So, because he's like, oh, join me in traveling around the universe and collecting data, basically. And in exchange, I will give you memories of Krypton. Because there always has to be some sort of stupid ultimatum. But also, one thing real quick, and I guess this will be addressed maybe next week when we get to the Lobo episodes. Superman's powers don't work all over the galaxy.
Right, just yellow suns.
Just yellow suns, yeah. So
that's why he has a spaceship.
So yeah, and
a spacesuit. He's prepared.
I don't know, it just seems a little odd to me. It's like, in Brainiac, you think would know that. Why all of a sudden?
But would he? Did he know how much? Like, because he was testing him. Did he know how strong a yellow sun made Kryptonians? I mean, did Jor-El know? Like, there's some iterations that Jor-El does know.
Yeah,
like, that's why he sends him to Earth.
In most versions, like, oh, yeah, he will be different. He will be powerful or whatever. Like, I don't know. I don't remember that being part of the dialogue in this version.
They never mentioned anything like that.
I think maybe they've kind of glossed over that just so they can have him go out into space and still function as a superhero.
Yeah, they did. I mean, in Smallville, they covered it up. Because, like, in the first few seasons, they made it sound like when he first figures out that he's Kryptonian, it kind of sounds like they didn't know. And then they just randomly shoehorned this one thing of like, oh yeah, Jor-El has also been to Earth at one point.
Oh yeah, what? I know that. Oh,
and it's like, oh yeah, he knew that you'd be super strong. Like, all right, I'll just believe that now because I'm, 16 watching the show, and I'll accept anything they shove in my face.
Retcon. But you couldn't have been 16 watching that show when it aired because I was like 15.
I mean, it was on for 10 seasons.
Yeah, I guess so. Whatever.
I caught a Smallville background. I was very against the show until the very last season when there was one of my friends who was like, oh yeah, I'm going to watch the last season. And I'm like, oh yeah, me too. And for a month, it was like the month before school started, all I did was like I'd wake up and I'd watch Smallville and I'd eat and I'd watch Smallville and I'd go to sleep. For a month, I caught up all 9 seasons.
Did that do permanent brain damage?
Probably.
This explains your taste in movies now.
Oh, yes.
We found your secret origin.
I was so excited to see anything else.
Anything other than Smallville. Oh, God. So he touches one of the orbs, and then he goes home, and I guess it has some sort of lingering effect on him, because in the middle of the night he has a
also,
dream.
Great apartment for a journalist in the middle of the city.
God, I know, right?
Like, I always love when they would show, in any cartoon, when they show the house. And I'm like, that's a nice house.
It's
very modern.
He's got a nice apartment. He's got a nice car. Yeah.
I like it. I love when they show those things.
He's doing all right for himself. But yeah, he has this dream where he sees the reality of what happened to Krypton with Brainiac betraying Jor-El, letting the planet die. We'll just let it be that he somehow figures it out. To me, it doesn't really work. But
yeah, it doesn't really make sense that this was like the lingering effect doesn't really. No. It's a weird kind of story element.
It's a weird, yeah. So, but he goes and tries to warn Luthor, and this moment I do like. This is the first time where the two of them have to kind of
work together
a little bit, and it's still they are far from it. But Luthor is willing to listen. He's like, "Oh yeah, no, I have like contingencies in place. All these missiles point at the spaceship,
just blow it up,
just in case it goes wrong." But it's
anything goes wrong, blow it up.
Yeah, that's his perfect solution to all problems. But it's
the American way.
Too relevant, too scary. It's a nice moment. Where we start to see that their relationship will evolve over time.
We are not so different, he and me.
That should be the name of this episode, is We Are Not So Different. You, me, him.
He and I.
We all have the vaguely similar body structure.
He and she. I mean, Superman loves his bald villains.
He does. I mean, Brainiac basically just looks like Lex.
And by that, I mean Bruce Timm hates drawing hair.
He hates hair so much.
He hates hair.
Yeah. Another example of like you put Luthor and Brainiac in silhouette, you really wouldn't be able to differentiate.
Well, I mean, I feel like that's kind of why they merge in Justice League.
Yeah. That's the thing is like this episode's kind of weak because Brainiac eventually gets really, really interesting, as does Luthor. Mm-hmm. We gotta remind ourselves it's early. Even the Joker wasn't great right from the beginning.
Yeah.
He definitely got better over time.
And yeah, we've mentioned this a few times. That this show is very different from BTOS because it does really like. It's a slow build. Like, they're introducing all of the elements, which is going to make the next season great.
Yeah, it's much more connected, much more long-form storytelling as they're shifting around here. So then we quickly learn that Brainiac has, in fact, been traveling around the galaxy, and then he collects his data.
A bunch of planets.
And just destroying the planets, just killing people left and right. And then at that point, it just basically the whole thing descends into a generic laser beam battle between Superman and Brainiac.
There's something about, I don't know why I enjoy it so much, but when like a hero just punches a beam of energy
I had the same
and it goes
thought.
away, I'm like, yeah, that's awesome.
That doesn't make any fucking sense.
I also did this right after watching an episode of Dragon Ball Z where that happens all the time.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I'll accept that. Just a pure beam of energy.
This makes sense.
Yeah, I'll just slap that out of the way. That's fine. It's not for me.
Yeah. But of course, Luthor like fires his missiles. The thing crashes. Brainiac gets destroyed. But don't worry, he uploaded part of himself into the Luthor mainframe.
Mm-hmm. And also, selfish Superman only grabs the Krypton orb, and lets all of those other planets just die.
Yeah, because Brainiac's like, the orbs or whatever he calls them, and Superman flies off. Yeah, it just grabs the Krypton one, and it's a nice moment because then he goes and he puts it inside the Fortress of Solitude, or the beginnings of his Fortress of Solitude.
With the nice panda bear.
Yeah, but
nice.
Polar bear.
Sorry, polar bear.
There could.
I'm sorry, that was my mistake. All I was thinking of was the Coca-Cola ads.
Semantics. Who would I be if I weren't pedantic? I mean,
shallow and pedantic.
Shallow and pedantic.
But yeah, that was kind of the end of the episode, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know what, again, not necessarily a great episode in and of itself.
It's a good setup.
I think it's like
a good part one for part two that's going to be way down the line.
I feel like this is definitely on the weaker end of the stuff we've been getting so far, actually. Everything else so far actually has been pretty solid. I think it's been weaker end. But, I mean, I love Brainiac as a villain. He is great. And I think part of my love for him came from this show. And to be fair, actually, I thought he was done decently well on Smallville. I don't know if you remember his stuff, too, that well.
Vaguely. It's kind of a blur.
So a little bit of background on the character. So normally he's referred to as Vril Dox, and I had it brought up somewhere, like his planet of origin. Where was it? It's not Krypton normally. It's Kolu. He's a Koluan. Ooh.
Cool.
Nice white Russian.
He's like an alcoholic.
Yeah, exactly. So, but in most versions, he's like a green-skinned humanoid, and that's his whole thing. He goes around and shrinks cities and bottles them up. And I did find, I always love when I'm on Wikipedia and I find like some amusing like story arcs with him. Mm-hmm. This is a great one from Action Comics number 275, in which Brainiac tries to defeat Superman by exposing him to both red and green kryptonite. And we've talked about all the different effects of kryptonite before.
Right.
Somehow that combination gives Superman a third eye on the back of his head, and he's forced to wear numerous hats to try and disguise it from people. That's amazing.
Oh, God, I love Silver Age comics.
1961, man.
Silver Age, best stories.
Great time for comics. But then in the
Comic Code did wonders for the
amazing
world.
Things. But then in the 80s, he got a redesign from Marv Wolfman, who does he? Oh, I'm thinking of Len
Calrissian.
Yeah, Lando Calrissian. Now, who's the guy who did Moon of the Wolf?
Oh, I don't remember. I know who you're talking about.
Not Len Wiseman. That's the director. Whatever.
That guy.
Anyways, but in the 80s, that's when he got the like the metal skeleton and spaceship designs, like the big metal skull face spaceship, the tentacles, which has popped up in a number of different iterations before.
Yeah,
that's where that version came in.
Okay, that's cool.
And so, like what we're getting here is kind of a combination of those two, right? So he's kind of more look of the original Brainiac with like the diodes on his head and a humanoid look, but he's a full on android.
Right. It's also I kind of wish they went into how he got the body. Because when we leave him in the first 3 episodes, he's just
a probe.
Yeah, he's just a sentient
We see
robot.
him kill those aliens at the post-credit sting.
That's true.
The pilot, he goes and he kills the aliens. So, I mean, he's basically been spending, 30-some-odd years traveling the galaxy. Just building. I mean, it's a huge ship he builds for himself. And there's, hundreds of planets he's visited in that time, which makes sense. I mean, what he has to do, he can do probably fairly quickly, depending on how civilized they are. But so I
did enjoy like the size of the orb. Decided like how civilized.
Oh yeah, no, right.
The small orb, and it's just like one family that he blows up.
Yeah, it's just like a prehistoric planet. He just goes and blows it all up. And
I
got a little sampling of knowledge there. But in one of his iterations, he basically his consciousness gets drawn into the body of Milton Fine. So that's what the version of was in Smallville. So in Smallville, he was referred to as Professor Milton Fine, but he was kind of like liquid metal android sort of thing. But he was the brain interactive construct, which I actually thought was a fairly clever way of talking about why it's called Brainiac, because I guess originally it was just brain and maniac and whatever. But in the comics, when he's Milton Fine, he has to go around and he needs cranial fluid to survive, so he becomes a mass murderer.
A zombie?
Kind of, yeah.
It's like a robot zombie.
I feel like that's
whatever.
Part of Smallville, maybe even too. I don't even quite remember.
I hope I didn't watch something like that.
He has another ridiculous arc, though. There was at one point the Doomsday Wars happened in the Superman comics. I'm not too familiar with them, but basically at one point Brainiac puts his brain into Doomsday, becoming like one of the most powerful beings on the planet. But when that falls apart, he has to put his consciousness somewhere, so he puts it into the prematurely born son of Pete Ross and Lana Lang.
All right.
And Superman somehow defeats that, and on we go. So, but then now, like this version that was kind of in the animated series has started to make its way into the comics. So, like one of his reintroductions, he basically does what this Brainiac does, going around and collecting stuff and destroying planets. So, and then, he was almost in a number of Superman movies, actually. Like, we've come so close to him so many times.
Yeah.
So I guess there was a draft of Superman 3 that had him, and I guess they were thinking about Richard Pryor, who's in that movie as, like, a computer scientist, but they were going to have Brainiac, but I don't know.
Okay.
I've never actually seen that movie.
Whatever.
Would have been weird. And then he was in the script for Superman Lives, Kevin Smith's script, which I've read, actually.
That's the Nick Cage one.
Yes. Yeah, so it's going to be Brainiac. I've seen some of the designs. They were weird, but they're actually kind of cool.
Yeah. Did you watch the documentary?
I haven't, no.
I still need to. The Death of Superman Lives is the name of the documentary.
Yeah.
That goes over the craziness of this movie.
Yeah, because I've read the script. It's batshit. But it's not necessarily bad, though. It's just weird.
Yeah. It's written by Kevin Smith, directed by Tim Burton.
Yeah, and I think maybe...
starring Nick Cage as Superman.
Yeah. So much to unpack there.
I know. I dream about that movie. I dream about what that could have been, how that would have changed superhero movies.
I know.
Forever.
Having read the script, I probably really did want to see it at some point. So we got to go watch it. We'll have to, like an episode on the documentary. That would be kind of cool.
That'd be cool, yeah.
Bonus episode. But and then, of course, Bryan Singer has also said that if he had gotten the chance to make his sequel to Superman Returns, Brainiac would have been the villain. And there would have been something about him taking over the Super Son. I don't really know how that all would have worked. We are inevitably going to get him in a movie, though. Like, I think he might be the single best Superman villain not yet put into a movie, which is not hard to do because we've ever had 2, ever. Well, 3, we've had Doomsday.
Yeah.
Sort of.
I mean, I just want Bizarro.
I really want Bizarro, too. There's a way to do it.
Yeah.
It'd be hard.
It's got like a Dave Bautista.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it have to be Henry Cavill?
Probably.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's always like a more bulky, kind of dumber version.
Are you just saying that Dave Bautista is a bulky,
dumb
version of
I am, because he's a wrestler.
He's actually quite a good actor.
I know. He's doing pretty good for himself.
He's doing all right.
He's in something coming out soon.
Blade Runner.
That's the one.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be interesting. Any other thoughts on this episode, on Brainiac? I would say on Smallville, but we obviously have so much more to talk about that.
That's for next
one
next
with Lana.
episode.
So.
Oh, Lana Lang.
Lana
Lang.
Had to do it.
That's all I got. Do we have a sponsor for this week?
It's Hellmouthy.
Ooh, I know those people.
I know the lovely girls over at Hellmouthy and their lovely, lovely podcast. So we talked to them before. It's a fantastic podcast. They do
what we do, but with Buffy
and Angel, and they do it much better.
No,
than we do.
Probably.
Absolutely. So here's the promo for it.
Hey guys, it's Ryan and Kelly.
Hey guys, it's Ryan and Kelly. From the Hellmouthy podcast. Do you want to watch Buffy? Either again or for the first time ever?
And talk about it?
With us? You'll be doing talking by yourself, but we'll be talking. Check out the Hellmouthy podcast on Nerdist School Network. Listen to it.
Okay, let's try it one more time.
Wow, that was so good.
Yeah, so yes, go check out Hellmouthy. And now we're on to my girl.
Oh, my girl.
My girl.
Lana is my girl.
Reintroduction of Lana Lang.
This had some of the best one-liners.
She's great.
I'm surprised they gave it to. I feel like Lois could have had all of these one-liners.
They found a way to make Lana even kind of sassier than Lois.
Yeah, and I loved it.
Because I think the difference is that Lois is brash. Like Lana's a little more. What's a good word to use for her?
I can't think of anything.
Sultry? That doesn't sound right.
No.
Anywho,
I love that she knows.
Yes.
So we'll get to that point. The very first line of this episode made it so good. It was like one of the best opening lines you could have of any episode.
I don't remember.
And
what it was.
They're at a fashion show, and Lois is looking at one of the women in the dresses and says, "The only thing holding that thing up is faith."
Oh,
and I'm like, I want to use that so badly.
That is a great line.
Oh, I loved it.
Oh my God, yes. Yeah, because Lois and Clark are at some fashion show, and there's all these paparazzi around him because Lex Luthor is dating the famous designer LL. And he's like, Clark's like, "Oh, Lana? I know Lana. We dated a while back. Oh, I should go say hi." It's a fun dynamic, actually, having her around, just because she's not intimidated by Superman or by Lex, even. She just doesn't care. She holds her own.
Yeah.
All the way through.
Which is kind of what you expect Lois to be like. And, she is very independent, but she is kind of, weak in the knees when it comes to Superman.
A little bit. I mean, also, it's kind of understandable.
Yeah.
I mean, he's no Dick Grayson.
Right.
But, you know,
He's got the broad chest instead of the bubble butt.
exactly. That's all the bubble butt. But
Lana shows up. She gets kidnapped immediately.
so I don't. The big kidnapper, the really tall woman. She looks like
From the
Dark Knight Returns.
Oh,
What were you thinking?
I was thinking Red Claw from Batman BTOS.
Oh, okay. See, I was thinking of there's like a henchman who's like this huge like neo-Nazi woman in The Dark Knight Returns that kind of remind me of this character a little bit. I don't remember her name.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. What? Okay, yeah.
I don't know if she had a name. I can't think of a name.
I don't remember her name, but this is her from the film adaptation. The woman who has swastika taped over her boobs.
Swastika nips.
Yeah. God. That's who vaguely...
For people who who can't see the photo that we're showing to each other, it's a Russian woman, a German woman, sorry. German woman. She has kind of the like...
She looks like Dolph Lundgren in Rocky IV.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
But she has...
Russian, yeah.
Yes, but she has giant swastikas taped over her nipples.
Yeah. Hang on. You talk. I got to get my computer charger.
Okay. So Lana gets kidnapped immediately by these two people as Clark kind of comes in to try and talk to her, sees that she's gone. Criminals kind of come out, and Superman's there. They throw her out the elevator because apparently all they wanted was her brooch.
Yes, that's a brooch.
Yeah, no, I know the word. I'm just kind of surprised that's all they wanted. Because they like go through all this trouble to kidnap her and then just like rip the top part of her shirt off and throw her out of the elevator. Also, very cool outdoor elevator. Superman causes like thousands of dollars of damage, destroying that really cool outdoor elevator. Superman saves Lana, goes, instead of just grabbing the two women from the elevator, he rips the cord off of he rips the cable kind of away, dismantling the entire elevator.
Yeah. I feel bad for the people who then have to figure out how to get that back on there. Does he loop back around and like help people fix
Does he like
this?
tie it back up? I feel like that'd be his solution. Like he doesn't understand how it actually works.
He's not familiar with elevator mechanics.
Yeah.
He kind of seems like the guy who would show up the next day and be like, hey, can I help you guys put this elevator back together?
I hope so.
I think he
Mr.
would.
Boy, yeah, he's Mr. Boy Scout. He has to.
I like Batman, who just doesn't give a shit when he ruins things. Actually, in fact,
he's the one that pays for it at the end.
Yeah, he turns around and like then uses like Bruce Wayne's company as like he basically just makes money off his own destruction, which is what Lex Luthor does too.
Mm-hmm. They're basically the same person.
They're basically the same person. I know. So then as when Superman,
and then she knows.
She knows when Superman
Chris,
saves.
that was so cute. Like that was I just need to appreciate that. It was adorable.
It is a really sweet moment because she's just like, she's like, oh hey Clark or something like that.
No, she's looking at his costume and being like the fashion designer, like, oh, primary colors, red, white, and blue. How patriotic! Did Martha sew that?
Oh yeah, and he's like, what?
I'm like,
what?
She knows. She's like, yeah, I know it's you, Clark. I saw you use your powers
all the time.
Yeah, as a high schooler.
Yeah, and then
there's no shit. It's you.
Yeah, Superman shows up at the same time. You moved to Metropolis. What a surprise!
You saw when I moved to Metropolis. Oh, what sexual tension banter we have going on.
Yeah, I've been keeping tabs on you. I've seen what you've been up to since high school.
Knew, Chris,
I know,
and it was so cute.
I do really quite love her.
And then Mercy is spying on them.
Yeah, Mercy's spying on them. And then, there's Lex is trying to set up some sort of arms deal. Superman's trying to figure out how it's going down. Lana's like, oh, I'll be like your spy. I'll be your sidekick.
He says, no, I'm having none of that.
Yeah.
No. She says, I'll be your Batgirl, which I really appreciate.
I did like that, actually, that little moment. Yeah. And eventually Lex catches them smooching.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a big fan of that.
Not having any of that.
So then he basically sets up a trap to try and send Superman way off to Central City to go try and find the arms deal stock, and then he kidnaps Lana and takes her to a lead plant to try and kill her.
Also, I want to talk about the guns really quick because they're really interesting.
Oh, they are really cool. Yeah.
So they're combustion guns, which I think they said they'll heat up the atoms.
It's a microwave gun that excites the electrons to their highest state, which then makes them explode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why doesn't it affect Superman? Because he came in way too confident, knowing they weren't going to hurt him. Like you see them shoot it at these trees, and the trees kind of don't do anything for a second, and they vibrate and explode. And the Superman comes in and just takes one to the chest.
It just bounces off of him. Bling.
Yeah. And I'm like, how would you know?
I think he just assumes nothing can hurt him.
Like that could have really like really hurt him if that had some effect on him.
They could have really fucked him up. I know.
Because it's like the first one, he stops with the palm of his hand, and I wanted to see like his hand kind of heat up a little, like some kind of effect, like not something that would hurt him, just some kind of resonating effect, like a little like it was like a bug bite to him.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm looking something up here because there was something about this episode that would bother me.
Okay, that's fine. So Lex sees them smooching, and it was kind of sad because like you see Lex like actually cares about Lana. Like this isn't like a publicity stunt for him. Like we see like real emotion out of him. So then they're at the lead plant. Apparently everyone knows that he can't see through lead now because they set that up. It has been like months now,
I suppose. Yeah.
So everyone's kind of learning.
I thought this was a clever place to set a climax of an episode in a lead plant. So then but the thing
every episode should be in a lead plant.
And what was cool was like the henchman seems like, oh, well, like this place is so coated in lead dust, Superman won't be able to see him. But then he still pops in like, oh, my hearing's great though. It's like it was a cool idea of like having him to try and chase someone down inside a building he can't see through, and they just kind of toss that off to the side then in favor of having the whole place come apart and having there just being molten lead flowing everywhere.
Right.
Which this was kind of bugged me a little bit. Okay. Because that thing, all that stuff's like pouring like water, and they are extraordinarily close to it. And I had to look this up real quick because the melting point of lead is like 600 degrees Fahrenheit. I feel like you could not even be in that room.
Oh, absolutely
over
not.
a lake of molten like lead and die. Now, I did also find something here about there's some way you can dip your hand into molten lead and not get burned. It's necessarily like I guess you like put like a layer of water and a layer of steam. I don't know. Whatever. Mythbusters is something I didn't watch the clip.
Science stuff. That's not what we're here for.
This bothered me a little bit because basically the whole thing is just flowing like water or like lava or whatever. But it's like that's not how that would work.
Right. How fast would it solidify? If 600 degrees Fahrenheit is its melting point.
Yeah, I feel like it would
get. I feel like it'd solidify pretty quickly if it was just in normal like 70-degree weather.
Pretty fast, I think. I don't know.
I don't know. That's not for us to decide. The show was made in 1996. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's been too long. I don't know. Anywho,
there's two more like little one-liners that I really appreciate. The best one being like the very Looney Tunes Animaniacs moment where Superman grabs Lana, is like, "Stay in here, you'll be safe," and he slams the door, and there's the camera pan, and it's the explosives room.
Yes,
it's like, ugh.
Oh yeah, real safe in here.
Yeah. Then there's the molten lead. Superman kind of saves everyone. They get out. And then the last line of the episode, which I also love, and it's not the last line, but the last scene is it's Lana and Clark talking, and she's still kind of be like, I still have feelings for you, and he's like, he's like about to say something, and she cuts him off, and he's like, if you say I'm a sister, I'm going back to Lex.
Yeah.
And I just like, she's so wonderfully sassy.
She is. That shit's great. She's like, don't worry, like Clark, you'll find someone nice and quiet and sensible. And then Lois from across the building, like, hey, Smallville, get your ass over here.
Yeah, it's great. It was a nice character episode.
It was, yeah. And I think, it
wasn't a great story, but it was fun with the characters.
Yeah, I think she really had
you need that every now and then.
Yeah, she had a big impact, and it was just Lex being just blatantly evil Lex once again. But yeah, I think her being in there made more fun.
But he was sad, Chris.
He was.
He was sad when he saw his girlfriend kissing his mortal enemy.
Most people would be.
He almost had like a single man tear.
I know. I don't think he's capable of crying.
Probably not.
No.
Probably programmed. He probably has like robotic tear ducts.
Exactly. Little robo tears.
Yep.
But yeah, it's
just money.
Yeah, because Lana's a pretty important character in Superman. She's pretty much popped up in most iterations of it. Like she's in the comic, she was in the original movies. Like she was just like a girl that kind of had a bit of a crush on Clark in high school. She was in Superman 3, played by Annette O'Toole.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Who then went on to be Martha Kent in Smallville.
Ooh, I definitely didn't know that.
Yeah, and apparently the producers didn't know that about her when they hired her for Smallville, which is kind of funny. You think they would have known. I did try and see if I could find some ridiculous bits of storylines from Lana over the years. Because she's a pretty old character. She's been around since 1958.
Wow.
And she was co-created by Bill Finger, which I thought was kind of cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
Quick side note. I did finally see the episode, the movie. There was the joke from when Batman vs Superman first came out about Bruce sleeping with Superman's mom. I don't know if you ever saw that joke.
I don't know if I did.
In Hollywoodland, Ben Affleck is in it as well as the actress that plays Martha Kent, and they sleep together.
Oh, you're right.
And
yeah.
there's a scene, it's the post-coitus scene where they're laying in bed together, and that's still, I remember seeing that still all over the internet. And I finally found what it was from, and it's hilarious.
We'll put it on the gram.
Yeah.
Oh, I just said the gram.
You did. I'm proud of you.
Oh.
You're an influencer now.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so she...
Makes me so sad.
By
Okay,
Bill
anyways, Bill Finger.
1958.
Apparently, in various versions, she gets powers and becomes the insect queen.
Okay.
Don't know.
Sure.
Don't even want to go there. But then, post-crisis, John Byrne's Man of Steel reintroduced her, and in that, it's kind of had this sort of element where she is in love with Clark, but he doesn't reciprocate. Mm-hmm. And so they're out for a walk, and Clark's like, "Oh, I have something important to tell you," and she's expecting a marriage proposal, and instead he's like, "Oh, by the way, I have superpowers." Surprise. And not
the powers to make a ring.
Yeah, exactly. So he's crush a diamond and put it in a ring and give it to me. And so she gets kind of hurt by that, and so she actually starts stalking Superman when she realizes that Clark is Superman and around Metropolis.
Interesting.
And to the point where Lex kidnaps her and tortures her to figure out what his identity is, and she holds out. And this is the part that's so ridiculous. This stalking eventually was proven to be caused by a long-term conspiracy from the Manhunters, who are the androids created by the Owens, who also do the Green Lantern Corps. It just gets so fucking ridiculous. But it wasn't just her. They had subtly mind controlled all the children born in Smallville, of that same era. It's all the kids that Clark grew up with.
Interesting.
I didn't learn to why or to what extent, but that was a thing.
That's an odd storyline.
In the comics, though, she married Pete Ross.
Oh, that's nice. Good for them.
Yeah, and they lived in Smallville, and eventually they had a son, as I mentioned, with the Brainiac thing. And somehow, Superman saves the baby, but because Brainiac was trying to take over the baby, even though the baby was born premature, but got to go to full term. I don't know. I couldn't get the whole thing exactly, but
I'm glad the kid got to survive. I would kind of hate for Superman to be like, "Hey, to the two people that know my secret identity, I'm going to have to kill your kid."
Yeah, but then Pete Ross went on to become a senator and then vice president to President Luthor.
Oh,
and then
I didn't know that.
Luthor stepped down, I think actually in Public Enemies, he became president, and so Lana got to be first lady.
Oh, good for them.
I know. Look at all the cool things that have happened to her.
Mm-hmm. She's also in Smallville.
She is in Smallville.
And I love her in Smallville.
She's actually pretty good in that.
Mm-hmm.
Did you remember?
She was definitely my favorite character for the first few seasons.
Oh, yeah. She's kind of better than everybody else.
Yeah.
Do you remember how she eventually left the show? I looked this up.
I remember Pete Ross leaving for college because he had the football thing.
Yeah, it's basically just Clark and Chloe are the only two who make it all the way through.
Yeah. I don't remember how she leaves. Is she go on a mission trip?
No. So she somehow gets infected with nanites or something like that she basically develops the ability to absorb kryptonite from absorb the radiation out of kryptonite.
Okay.
So, but she retains that. So at a certain point, she becomes toxic to be around Clark.
I do remember this episode.
Lex has some scheme to blow up the Daily Planet with a kryptonite bomb, and she absorbs all the radiation out of the bomb, but as a result, she can't be around Clark, so then she has to leave.
I remember that now.
Yep.
And I feel like they introduced Lois that season too.
No, she got introduced season 5 or something like that. But I mean that it was after that then Lois and Clark started to get together.
Yeah,
that's when the show really got better, anyways. But I just love they had to do something so absurd. They couldn't have just had it be she decides it's time for her to move on and pursue a new life. No, they had to find a way for her to permanently be separated from him because of kryptonite poisoning. Did you also know that she was in Man of Steel and Dawn of Justice?
Lana or Kristen?
No, Lana.
Okay. I don't know. We're talking about Smallville?
She's one of the girls in the school
more.
bus that Clark saves in Man of Steel, and then I guess she's attending Clark's funeral in
whatever.
Dawn of Justice.
Whatever.
It's kind of ridiculous.
She'll be a main character in Justice League.
Yeah.
That too Alfred's talking to.
Oh my.
You know what you have to do. No, I don't. I really don't.
Who are you?
What? I don't know what I'm doing here.
Where am I here? Why are you repairing an Aston Martin in a field? What's going on?
You know what you have to do.
All the same questions we'll be asking.
Yes.
As an audience. Pretty fantastic. I mean, any other things you want to talk about Lana?
It's kind of all I got about Lana.
What?
It's kind of all I have
That's all
about
you got?
Lana. Yeah.
Other than just your love for Kristen
Just,
Krook?
I love her so much.
Kristen Keurig.
Kristen Keurig.
Yeah, she's so great.
I said Kuric.
Kuric.
There was
Like
a K
Katie
at the end.
Couric?
Yes, like Katie Couric. Are they not siblings?
They're all related.
Yes.
All right. I know you.
Keruk. Kuric.
K-E-R. Is it not K-R-E-U-K?
I don't think so.
Oh.
Whatever. It didn't correct me when I was typing it in my phone.
Fuck it.
Whatever.
What does it matter?
What do you have to plug, Chris?
No, it's K-R-E-U-K.
All right, whatever.
Yeah, it's right here on my thing. I have been very busy. I haven't had a chance to watch or see anything.
If you can't tell from the fresh new audio, we're in a new location.
we're
Chris
in
has moved.
We're in my new apartment. Yeah,
Nice apartment. We have a
thank you.
special guest that's being very quiet and very, very nice.
My second roommate, as I refer to him, Yogi. It's a adorable little dog. He's running around here somewhere. Mm-hmm. We talked about this before. We're basically just becoming the Weekly Planet, but nowhere near as good.
Right.
Yeah. So
With worse accents.
yeah, with no accents means we're way less funny.
Well, I mean, they don't think they have accents. That's my favorite running gag from them.
Oh, that's
They're
true,
always
yeah.
like, Australians don't have accents.
No. But I have not had a chance to watch anything because I've moved. I have been listening to, though, related to the Weekly Planet, Do Go On, which is one of the podcasts they talk about. It's like three people will have a topic of the week, and one of them will present a report, and they also talk about it. So the one I'm listening to right now is all about Disneyland. Yeah.
I know that place.
I know. You were just there. I was just there.
I've been there a few times.
Yeah. And specifically, they're talking about the opening. So a little bit of what went on before the park opened and the opening day of itself, which I don't know how much you know about the history of that.
July 18th, 1955.
Sure. It was a disaster.
Yeah, it was
It was a nightmare. There were a whole bunch of fraudulent tickets got printed out, so there was way more people there than there was supposed to be. The plumbing wasn't complete. They were painting stuff and finishing things off at the time. They're running out of food. There was a heat wave. It's insane. So they're just kind of talking about all the stuff that went into it. It was interesting. I knew some of the history, but not all of it. Mm-hmm. So, and they have a few other episodes. I listened to one recently that was all about Back to the Future, which is pretty good.
Nice.
And they have one with James Bond and a few other ones that I've saved up to go listen to at some point. But no, there's three really funny Australian people talking about an interesting topic that you don't necessarily know about. It's
That's
very
awesome.
entertaining. Yeah, so that's my one plug of the week because that's all I got.
nice.
So what about you?
Well, like I mentioned before, I've been to the movie theater 4 times this week because I have nothing to do with my life. I saw Lucky Logan.
Okay.
Which I highly
Logan
recommend.
Lucky.
Yes, Logan Lucky.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Logan Lucky?
It's Logan Lucky. So that was weird. That was the other way around.
Okay.
So
Oh, right. I keep thinking Lucky Penny.
yeah.
Yeah. So Logan Lucky. So I've seen it twice now. And it's one of those movies that you really pick up a lot more the second time because
Okay.
a lot of the dialogue feels like it's just kind of throwaway lines, but every single line in that movie relates to something else. And that's
Oh.
really cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's Soderbergh. He generally does pretty good work.
Yeah.
So
The first time watching it, I thought it was okay.
Mm-hmm.
All the core 3 actors do amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Craig is just fantastic.
Oh my God.
Adam Driver is wonderful. Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
But Adam Driver is so just monotone and wonderful. Daniel Craig is this super crazy because he's the explosives guy.
yeah. I mean, it's a kind of a comedy role for him, right?
Yeah, it absolutely is a comedy.
Yeah.
Highly recommend it.
Okay.
And then I watched Ingrid Goes West, which kind of relates to this podcast because they make a bunch of Batman jokes in this.
Do they?
In that movie. So, little Ice Cube.
What?
Ice Cube's kid.
Oh, O'Shea Jackson.
Yeah. Which I only see Ice Cube when I look at him.
He looks a lot like him. I mean,
especially in this movie because he has the flat brim hat all the
Okay,
time.
yeah.
It's a Batman hat.
I
And
mean,
when he wears
one
that-
would think he would have looked a lot like him when he played his dad.
Yeah.
In
I mean, he
straight
also
outta
looked like him
content,
then.
but yeah. but
So in the movie, kind of the C story is his character is an aspiring screenwriter and he wants to write the next Batman movie.
oh, that's cool.
And so he's always he makes the joke of I lost my parents when I was young, and so when I was at the orphanage, I found the Batman comics, and that was kind of what got me through all this stuff. And I even wore the Batman mask through all of elementary school, and I had my friends call me Bruce. And he's super into the Batman thing.
Okay.
And it's they make it a lot fun. I explain the sad part of it, but they make it a lot funnier. That's all he can talk about. How relatable.
I know. Yeah.
But the movie is great. It's very surreal for people that live in LA because I know if you don't know the story, it's Aubrey Plaza's character becomes obsessed with this one kind of Instagram influencer and is doing everything in her power to be like her friend.
Okay.
And it's like, I know these people. Like, I know people that do this, that like do whatever Instagram people do just because it'll make a good Instagram photo.
Yeah.
Like, I know those people. And that made me feel very weird watching this movie. That it's too real.
It's too much.
It's too real. Like, it's if you've seen Black Mirror, it's season 3, episode 1 with Ron Howard's daughter, Bryce Dallas Howard. That girl.
Tangent. Have you watched Arrested Development?
No.
So they make a joke in that where Isla Fisher plays like the other, like Ron Howard's other daughter.
Oh, that's amazing.
And so they make a joke about how the middle name of their kids is always named after where they were conceived. So like it's Bryce Dallas Howard, and the other character is Rebel Alley Howard.
That's great.
Yeah. Anywho.
Tangent. If you've seen that episode of Black Mirror, then you basically know the premise of the movie.
Okay.
It's a much funnier version of that storyline and much more relevant.
Okay.
But yeah, those are kind of the two main things I'll plug.
Both we're
this
seeing?
week. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'll only plug the things worth seeing for now.
Okay.
For now.
Wait, what else did you see?
I saw Birth of the Dragon.
Okay.
Which is great for me.
Okay.
For someone that likes bad kung fu films.
It's true.
Love it.
You do.
And then what else did I see? I found a podcast. We don't need to. Actually, we should plug this one because we actually know a person that was on this podcast.
Oh, what?
It's a YouTube channel that I've been watching for a while called Rebel Taxi. We plugged them a few weeks ago.
Oh, one of their videos.
They did the Rugrats video, how
Yes.
Rugrats ruined 2D animation.
Yes.
They do a bi-monthly podcast, and oh my gosh, I'm so mad that I forgot her name.
From Nerdist?
No, from Cartoon Network. The girl from the Cartoon Network party. The connection.
Oh.
It's not Kristen or Caitlin, but it has like an extra A in there. Her. I'm so sorry for forgetting your name.
I've forgotten as
well.
well.
I told her that she could be on the podcast at some point.
Okay.
She was on an episode of the Rebel Taxi.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and so that was a very interesting surprise. And it's a cool, like, you know, if you like my tangents, that's basically their entire podcast. It's just like cartoon talk.
Okay, so it's just right up your alley.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, well, we'll track down her name.
I'm sorry if you. I don't think she listens, but if you do, I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
Katrin.
Oh, okay, yes. Oh, thank God you found it.
Yes, Katrin Snodgrass.
Okay, yeah.
Snodgrass.
So I'll put that episode up in the links and go check that out.
Yeah.
So before we sign off, we're gonna do this on air. You just kind of got spoiled for you already, but it is our 50th episode, so I did get something.
ASMR.
Some what?
Do you know ASMR?
What's ASMR?
That's the big. It's still kind of a trend. It's when people make like all the like very subtle. You wear headphones, they make all the like subtle noises. You got cupcakes that have a 5 and a 0, and an Oreo. We take a picture for the Insta.
Yeah. Although put it on the fucking podcast Instagram.
Yeah, you can put it over there
this time. Don't just put it on yours. Yes, I did go and get us cupcakes in what is probably the most mom moment I've had in a really long time.
I'm so honored.
Yeah, so I had to do it. It's our 50th podcast, excluding other podcasts.
Excluding those other episodes.
Excluding all those other episodes that we do as well. But I had to go to that. We're not going to sing like a happy birthday song or something like that, but we have little candles here.
Yay.
I'm burning myself.
We don't need to eat them on air, but we
won't.
on air.
Yeah, we have them on air.
I guess we can do the outro while we set all this up.
Yeah.
Next week we have the 2-part Lobo episode, which I'm super pumped for.
The main man.
Yeah.
2 episodes.
I was a little upset because I started watching that episode and got really excited, and then I remember you told me to not watch those 2.
Yeah, I know. It's like, no, that's not what we're doing. Yes, we got those coming up next week. Should be good. If you want to reach out to us, we are at Timm Talk Pod on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. You can find me at Lordifer. And let me see if I can get yours. So it's you. It's at Cameron.Dexter for your artwork, and then for you, it's at Cameron_Adventures.
Cam Dexter_Adventures.
Cam Dexter_Adventures. Oh, so close.
Almost there.
So close. I just copy and paste every week.
That's all you got to do.
Yeah, but again, thank you so much for everyone who does listen to us. I mean, we basically just do this because it gives us an excuse to hang out every week and talk about Batman, Superman, all that sort of fun stuff. But it's also been really cool, kind of being able to bond with people over our love for Batman and Superman, and to get to talk with you guys on Instagram and Twitter and everything like that. So for those of you who listen and who engage with us, we really appreciate it. So thank you
thanks
very
so much, everyone.
And I think that does it. Wait, hang on, let's blow the candles real quick. Actually, you do it. You go ahead.
Do I make a wish? What do I wish? What do I wish for on this podcast?
I don't know. Wish for good superhero movies. There we go.
It's a wish that won't ever come
Will
true.
never come true. We wish for a good Superman movie someday. But until then, thanks, guys.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Bye.
The Nerdist School Network. For class and show information, visit nerdistschool.com.